All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here in January's 2026 first Connecting the Dots meeting of the year. As I was just sharing, we will go over the agenda momentarily, and we will have a chance in the second part of the meeting for everyone to share or ask questions. And when that time comes, I ask that you introduce yourself and say your name and where you are joining us from, what organization, or if you're here as a parent, then to share a little bit about your role as a parent. And in the meantime, feel free to drop that information in the chat box. So you're welcome to share your name, your pronouns, where you're calling in from, and then we'll be able to share those introductions in person later on as well. So the chat box is available for you. If you are just joining, I will also drop in the chat again the document that we're looking at here on the screen that we will be able to refer to together. You're also welcome, I believe, if the sharing, it looks like you're all able to be on there, and I believe you are able to comment. I'm going to go ahead and I trust you all. I'm going to give you all permission to edit this document. That was one of the intentions of the document, is so that you can add to it. If there's a section here that you want to make sure everyone has written, then that would be, you're welcome to do that. So my name is Kara Kaikini. I'm the Executive Director of the Maine State Breastfeeding Coalition, and I'm really glad to see all 27 of us here today. Welcome. I hope you're all having a good day and that the start to your year has gone well, and that you are finding ways to connect to your nervous system and find ways to calm your nervous system if you feel like it's buzzing a lot lately. And same thing for your heart. If you feel like your heart has been feeling a lot lately, there's a lot going on in our world right now, and it can be really hard to be managing that, especially when we're working with families who are also trying to manage that. So I just want to recognize that right now, and hope that you all are here today and can experience this hour as one that can help ground you to the work that you're doing and to who you are. Just make sure I've got everyone in the waiting room. Excellent. I'm seeing some introductions in the chat. Awesome. So you're welcome also in the chat to share one thing that you'd like to celebrate from last year and one thing you're looking forward to this year. That also can be something that we share when you are introducing yourself on camera later as well. Also think about what else you might want to share that's related to legislation that might be coming up or that you're aware of. Anything else that's going on in Maine or beyond. Any updates you can bring, any new research, any work challenges that you're having that our colleagues here can help you with. Those are some of the ideas, some of the ways we can use that time. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes going through this document. We want to first thank our annual partners, the patron and advocate level partners. We also have a handful of supporters who are joining us as well as partners, and we hope to continue to add to this list. But thank you to our higher level partners for supporting our work throughout the year. We really, really appreciate you. We always have this opportunity for donating. We are not a super well-funded organization, despite what some folks might believe, so that we are always looking for donations. And Facebook birthday fundraisers or any sort of Facebook fundraiser is a great option too. Plus, I'll mention our need for volunteers. So if donating funds is not a great option for you, maybe donating your time is. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. Also wanted to mention some upcoming education resources and opportunities. We have our webinar coming up in February. This is going to be a super interesting one about health disinformation and what people are seeing on the internet. I really look forward to seeing you in that webinar and being a part of that conversation, because I imagine you are working with people who are coming to you with information that might not be accurate, that they've seen on the internet or in social media. So I'm looking forward to learning from Jeanette more about how to manage that. We also have a webinar that we're a part of through the Maine Public Health Association called Community-Based Solutions to Support Mental Health, Maternal Health, Parental Well-Being, and Reducing Social Isolation. Isolation. My words are struggling this morning. And so we are going to be part of a panel presentation where we're talking about support groups essentially. And some of the folks who are here, I see you, Lulu, Sarah and Emily and Abby are all going to be part of that panel to talk about the support groups that they lead. And if this is something that you've been thinking of starting, if you've been thinking of starting a support group, this would be a great webinar to attend. It's free. And you'll also have the opportunity to learn more about doulas and about Mama, which is technology that folks are using right now. Some of you might be familiar with that. So that information is there. The Best Connections Conference is coming up this spring. It is going to be not a live virtual conference. They're all going to be recordings available for you to check out. They'll be released April 1st, and you can complete them by June 30th. If you have a group of 5 or more people who are interested, then you can reach out to Cheryl and she will allow for a group registration. You can find the brochure on this page as well. It should be linked there. And I can just put that in the link right now. It's easy enough for me to do. I'll be facilitating a panel about workplace support. So we'll have Dusty from the Maine Women's Lobby joining. We'll have Jessica Lee from the Work Life Center, I think is what it's called. We will have Abby Lacasse, one of our workplace committee chair, and one other person who I'm forgetting right now. And coming up in June is the United States Breastfeeding Committee Conference. If you are able to attend this, I would highly recommend it, especially if you are interested in systems level work and advocacy. The USBC is where it is at, and their conference is in June in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm really looking forward to attending again this year. Let me know if you're planning on going. Some other resources, we still have our LGBTQIA2S+ reference on our website. We still have our Zip Milk directory. If you haven't already submitted your listing, please do. Coming soon will be guidelines for the use of human milk in the context of substance abuse. This is substance use. This is something we've been working on with Maine Mom the last few months. We're very close to finalizing it and distributing it along with Maine Mom. So stay tuned for that. We're also working on a parent handout right now too to go along with it, and hopefully more of a comprehensive toolkit as well. I also wanted to mention the Maine Quit link. I'm not sure if this is something that you are sharing with people that you're working with, but definitely recommend you do. There's also a website, babyandmetobacco-free.org, and the CDC also has some information about breastfeeding and the use of tobacco. I see Pasika is here, and I'm not sure if you're interested when we have a chance later to share more about safe infant feeding, but there is some really good information that we're looking into now about coordinating a standby action team of people who are interested in just helping our state be ready to support infant feeding in emergencies. So stay tuned for more info about that. But if that's something you're interested in, feel free to message me or drop your name in the chat and we'll connect you. I believe Pasika will be leading that work for us. Parent resources, a lot of the same resources available. Our workplace toolkits are still there and in different languages. We have our support group directory we just found out we will have a volunteer helping to update that soon, which is really great. We have these Hug Your Baby resources. You might be familiar with these. Jan Tedder was one of our presenters at our conference, and she is offering some resources available to our coalition for free. That QR code goes to a different page, but it's the same similar resources. But if you go to that link, then again, I can copy that and put that in the chat. Then you can access some resources for parents there. And the Harold Alphon Grant. I'm hopeful that everyone here is familiar with the Harold Alphon Grant, the money that every baby born in Maine receives. If not, please check that out. I have update contact info that it doesn't need to be there. But they're looking for help. They're looking for more people to be sharing this information with parents and making sure that their contact cards are updated with their correct contact information. As far as legislative updates, same updates from the donor milk bank world. I'm not sure if we have someone here from the milk bank to offer any more updates, but they're always looking for more donations, and we still want to recognize and celebrate Maine Health South Portland Pediatrics for opening their depot and dispensary. Great topic. If anyone has any updates to share later on, please do. And then I'm not sure if anyone is here from the Paid Leave Coalition or the Paid Leave for Maine group, but you can usually find some updates through these links as well. We're hoping that our timeline can stay as it is, which means paid leave benefits will begin May 1st, and really hoping that that continues to be the case. There's an article that you may have seen from the National Academies about basically some different system improvements that the country should be considering to improve breastfeeding. And one of those is paid federal family and medical leave. But the article itself has a lot of other strategies and suggestions that are helpful. Funding and federal funding in particular is a big topic. It's a tough topic because it's pretty much all over the place, it seems like right now. The USBC recently shared a blog post explaining where the budget stands, or where it did as of mid-December anyway. And so that information can be found here. And the summary of appropriations is also linked in their blog, and I just want to share that here. If you're interested in this, and if you're wondering how you could be advocating for funding, you can look through this page here, and it talks. The blog post speaks about what the House bill included and what the Senate bill included, and we don't know yet what will actually be enacted. But you can see here that the Senate bill included maintaining the hospitals promoting breastfeeding funding and adding to racial and ethnic approaches to community health. You can kind of go category by category. These are all areas that are connected to breastfeeding support throughout the country. So thankfully, well, it looks like we already have WIC is maintaining their funding, so that's really good news. But this is something that I would encourage you to look at and see what is in the House bill, what's in the Senate bill, and I'm also hopeful that the USBC will be giving us some more specific ways that we can be advocating for funding for breastfeeding. They have asked that people sign a I didn't list it here, but in their blog, thanks for the scrolling. It's not here either. Sorry, they have an organizational sign-on letter that the Maine State Breastfeeding Coalition has signed on to already, asking for funding for breastfeeding, essentially. And it is something that they're not looking for individual people to sign on to, but organizations to sign in onto. So if you are part of an organization that might want to sign on to that letter, let me know and I can get that to you if you if you don't already have access to it. All right, PRAMs. This is another thing that we want to be advocating for, and PRAMS stands for Pregnancy Risk and Monitoring System. It's a survey that goes out to new parents after they've had a baby, and it provides a lot of data that we use, the Maine State Breastfeeding Coalition uses, and people throughout the state and the country when it comes to maternal and infant health, essentially. And that whole team that managed that was laid off in April, and we really need to be supporting this program. And if you can, provide public comment by January 20th to support that. There's a template that the USBC has created to help you draft that public comment. There's a link for where to submit that. You can attend a webinar to learn more about it. and attend a webinar, it looks like next week, to learn more about how to write a public comment. That's always helpful to be given some guidance on that. So we want to be supporting PRAMs and advocating for that to stay, or to come back rather. And then in this document too, we also have our state senators and representatives and their contact info for you to reach out to if you have any questions or concerns. Our workplace resources are there, and then volunteers. So it's a lot for us. There's a lot that we're doing, and we really want to do more. So how many of you have attended the Patchwork of Parenthood event in the past? It's our storytelling event that's usually in May, and it's been in Brunswick, it's been in Portland. But we are hoping to do that again this year, but we need volunteers to help. So if you have attended, even if you haven't, but if you have attended and you know how powerful this experience is, then please consider volunteering to help with the planning. This will be our 6th year doing it, so we've got the process pretty well underway. We just need some folks who can be assigned to different tasks. Same thing with our conference. We are going to start looking at starting our conference planning soon, and we would love a nice, strong team of 3 to 5 people to help with that throughout the year. So if you attended our conference and it's a big effort, and we need a strong group of people to help with that too. We're also, if you haven't seen our strategic plan, our first goal in our strategic plan is around expanding and diversifying the lactation workforce, essentially making sure that more people have access to lactation support. And so we're forming a work group around lactation workforce growth and development. So that means, like, how do we make sure more people can get trained as lactation consultants? How can they get trained as lactation counselors or educators? What are all the different training programs? Who do we have in our state in these roles, and where are they? Are they in rural locations, or are they only in the more populated areas? So please consider signing up to help with that if that's something you're interested in. And then we also have a new finance and accounting role, where we have an amazing treasurer. I don't know where we would be without her. And we've had a fantastic bookkeeper who is also volunteering her time, but we need some more folks to help with that a bit. So we also have other opportunities too. So if these don't quite align with what you're interested in, then know that we have other opportunities as well. And I'll drop that form in there, or you're welcome to just email me with any questions too. All right, almost done with my piece here. Our meetings will continue this year with the first Thursday of every odd month, unless it's a holiday. So we're looking forward to that. If you would like a calendar invite, the Google Calendar invite, some of you may be getting numerous invites whenever I add someone or make a change. And I apologize if these are coming through to you too often. If you aren't getting a calendar invite, let me know, and I can add you to that. And then our 2026 webinars, we have selected our webinar topics and speakers for the year. So far, we've gotten confirmation back from our June and our October webinars, and our April, August, and December webinars all look really exciting too, and we're excited to get those confirmed. And since we have all this information already, we'll be able to apply for continuing education sooner and make those available for you too. So I think that's it from me right now. We have 28 of us here, and we have about 38 minutes to share what's going on in your area. A couple of topics that might be interesting to discuss, if we have folks in the group that want to bring them up, are around infant feeding and disasters, and also workforce development. So again, curious to know what are the workforce needs, or what are the lactation support needs in your area. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Before I do that, I'm going to drop the link up to this document in the chat again, if anyone wants access to that. And I know it is a Google Doc, and some folks are unable to access Google Docs, and I'm sorry. But we can try to share out a PDF after. It helps if you email me if you need that too. And my email is there. Thank you all for hanging in there. It's a lot of information, and I welcome any questions. Anyone have any questions first before we go through and do introductions and open up for sharing? Does anyone have any questions about any of that information? Robin, I see your hand.
Yeah, I'm just wondering do you have a date yet for the patchwork of parenting?
I don't think we have anything confirmed yet because we haven't put a deposit down anywhere. We
Okay.
might change venues, but it would most likely be, yeah, it would be a Saturday in May.
A
I
Saturday in
can't,
May. Okay.
yeah, I can't guarantee anything yet. We do have our fall conference date though,
Okay.
that in there, and that is September 23rd. It's a Wednesday. It will be
Okay.
back at the Augusta Civic Center
Okay, great.
on Wednesday, 23rd. So
Okay.
mark your calendars. And if again, if you want to be part of helping to plan that and find speakers and set the registration fee, um, please let us know.
You'll be offering continuing education for nurses. What about SERPs?
So for the conference, just like we did last year, both nursing and SERPs. For the webinars, so the IBLCE SERPs process, they're requiring that submissions are entered 90 days before the event.
Okay.
And so we won't be able to do that for February, but we're already starting that for April. And so we need to, and the other piece that we're a little bit hung up on right now is whether or not to apply for them to be available, for the recordings to be available for SERPs. I think
Oh, good
the
question.
recording, the SERPs re recording, sorry, SERPs for recordings is a whole other process that we just learned about because we thought we were going to be all set for the conference, which is one reason why we still haven't released the recordings for the conference yet. Um, but yes, good question. That's the goal. Any other questions? All right. Well, the rest is all up to you all. And the best way to do this, I think, is going to be if you can use the raise hand function in Zoom. And I think you can do that by going to your view looks different than my view, so I'm not exactly sure where that is. But if you can't, and if you're on camera, and this is a great, if you can put your camera on, that would be awesome for this section of the meeting. But feel free to do what Robin did, which was just literally wave her hand, and I should be able to see that. Otherwise, you can type something in the chat, or you can simply unmute. Lulu, I see you are raising your hand. Go for it.
Hey, I'm Lulu. I'm a CLC and a doula, and I'm currently trying to find mentors so I can embark on the Pathway 3 for my IBCLC. So I've reached out to a few people, but I'm still putting my feelers out there. So I'll throw that out into the world. I'm very capable. I run a nursing circle that meets twice a month, so I'm very invested already in this work, should that matter. But I also want to say, because we were talking about the Mother's Milk Bank, that I did help open one in Camden this fall, and it's up and running now. So it's a depot and a dispensary. So if anybody is trying to find something in the Camden area, the Five Towns area, or in the Mid Coast, maybe they've sold out at Soft Corner, for instance, we are in business. So feel free to reach out to me. I think that we're listed on their site now too.
That's awesome, Lulu. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that. If there are any web links you could put in the chat, that'd be great. If there
Okay.
are any
Yeah.
images or anything that we can share in a newsletter, I would be happy to do that. And in our social media world as
Awesome.
well.
Thank you.
Congrats. So you are, and also to clarify for anyone who might be considering mentoring you, you're in the Camden area. Is
I'm
there,
in Camden, but I think that this journey will inevitably involve a lot of traveling, so
Mhm.
my location should not concern you at all. I actually just to attend births, I go all over the place as it is, so I'm used to traveling for my work and I'm prepared to travel more.
awesome. And I can say Lulu is amazing. And if I was in a position to be um, offering mentorship, I would absolutely be happy to work with Lulu. All right, thank you for sharing. Who else has something that they would like to share? Thanks, Cynthia. She's saying she'll share this with the Rockland team. Robin, go ahead.
Let's see. And can you?
You're
No.
muted.
Okay.
You're
Here
good
you
now.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm an IBCLC and I'm in Ellsworth. So Lulu, you I don't have a whole lot I can mentor with, but it's a possibility. I really do want to mentor, and I've tried to coordinate that with other mentors because you do have to do a lot of traveling to get enough
Mhm.
hours. But let's keep in touch. I'll put my
Great.
message in there. So I'm at Anchored Women's Health, which is a women's health center in Ellsworth, and I do office visits there. And I'm starting a Mother's Circle at the Ellsworth Public Library starting in February. It'll be the second and fourth Thursday of the month, 9 to 10:30. I know that sounds early, but it's the only time the library was available. And we will have speakers when we decide who we want to have come and talk to us. And it's free. It's open to anyone with a baby 6 months or younger. A toddler is welcome if they can be quietly entertained. So it could be grandmothers, it could be babysitters, it could be aunties. So Ellsworth, it's where it's happening.
Awesome. And there's also a milk depot.
We have a milk depot in Ellsworth at Anchored Women's Health, and we had two donors last year. We had thousands in just 4 months. We got 2,000 ounces. It was just great. But we had a donor for a whole year. It was great. I had pictures of them growing and stuff. But I'm looking for more donors, so I have to get the word out again. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. And remind me, is there a dispensary at Anchored Women's Health as well, or is it just the depot? It's a depot. Okay. Okay, awesome. Meg, thank you for dropping in the chat more info about that MPHA webinar coming up. And I think Meg had said that she wouldn't be able to speak probably today, so feel free to unmute if you can, but otherwise you're good. Thanks, Lulu, for sharing your um, info about the clubhouse. Great. Caroline.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Palmetier. I'm with the Alphon Scholarship Foundation. We do the $500 for all babies born Maine residents, giving that investment for their future education right at birth. So I just wanted to pop in, say hi, let you know that we appreciate it when you can just remind parents and mothers that this grant exists for their baby right from birth. And if they have questions about it, knowing how to get them in touch with us. We're a small organization. We're just three people. So all the partners and trusted voices that we can have sharing about this important grant is hugely helpful. So I can share my information in the chat. Um, and happy to mail out contact cards. That's honestly the simplest way to get families connected to their Alphon grant. It is a very simple contact card. You can have those on hand. They usually get them at the hospital, but recognize that many families either don't, receive that in a hospital setting or simply forget about it. I appreciate your help in just reminding families about this awesome grant. So,
Thanks, Caroline. So in the hospital, they're usually filling out a contact card or their address is getting to you in a different way.
so we work with all of the maternity wards throughout the state, and we do ask nurses to help families fill out those contact cards before they leave the hospital. But generally, our rates of return are only about 40 families, 40% statewide, actually complete those contact cards within 3 months of having their baby. So we know that there's a large population of families with newborns and infants that still have not connected to their child's Alphon grant. But no, even though that they might not be getting connected right away. They are still eligible for the grant. We just simply need them to connect to their child's grant so they know what that value is because the value is invested. And we just really want families to feel, hopeful for their child's future, knowing that there's money invested for their future education. So
Excellent.
anything that you guys can do to help is really appreciated.
Right. And yeah, if you're working with a family who may have been at one address when they were at the hospital, but they've moved,
Mhm.
that's also another good opportunity. So you said there are contact cards that might be good for everyone here on the call to have on hand. Uh,
Yes.
okay.
So I can always mail those out. You can also do contact information online, but I think that having a physical card is just easiest. Um, the cards that I can mail you are prepaid postage, so it's really simple. Like, you just have to know like where you had your baby and like your address. It's very high level information. It usually takes, someone a minute to fill it out, but if you can put that in the mailbox even for them, I know it just takes one thing off of these families' plates. It's just really helpful if they haven't done that and you can help them do that.
Excellent. Thank you. And I see Meg also put information about the Maine Care Doula Council that just started meeting, and they are going to be supported by the TEMA grant, the Transforming Maternal Health grant that just started, and there is going to be some good work happening over the next few years to make it so Maine Care will help reimburse for doula care. And so they started the rate determination initiation process. And I'm looking forward to learning more about that. I know that we also had a bill pass in the spring for private practice lactation consultants to be reimbursed by Maine Care as well. And so the next step is going to be that rate determination process, and we're anxiously waiting to hear more about that so that we can be a part of that and make sure that this is a rate that is worth lactation providers becoming enrolled with Maine Care to get reimbursed. Um,
Um, I'm I'm just going to jump in, Kara.
yeah.
So I'm Cynthia Grass. I'm the public health nursing supervisor for Maine CDC for District 6 and 7. Caroline, you guys have come to a couple of our events, and it's been really great having you guys there. I am going to be reaching out to get more cards. I just have a quick question for you. On these cards, is there any possibility of having a QR code that they could access an online form that quickly just fill it out online?
So I know that the hospitals have QR codes on their specific contact cards now. So I believe we are working to integrate that into our newer batches of contact cards that'll go out to, health support services soon.
Okay, that would be great if we could, yeah, if we could
They
have
are
them.
handy. They
Yeah.
are, yeah.
And I just
Thanks,
want to,
Cynthia.
yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to add, we are almost at full capacity across the state of Maine, public health nursing. And so what that looks like is a lot of public health nurses that are out there in every community, doing the work and going into homes. So we get to see a lot of people, and we get to, share a lot of messages out there and help a lot of people. I did want to ask Robin, Robin, as far as the program goes, the new program that you're starting, what is the name of that? You said Mother's Group?
We got, I literally, it's not even in the paper yet. I'm calling it Mother's Circle,
I like
and it's going to be starting February 12th at
February
the
12th.
Ellsworth Public Library.
And second and fourth Thursday, right?
Yeah, second and fourth Thursday. And there'll be stuff in the newspaper and on their website, and I'll put on my website, the library. The
Right.
library has been very helpful in getting this going.
Yeah, I love that. And I will say, Caroline, these support groups that are getting going across the state, these are good ways to get the word out there and educate about the Alphon grant as well. And we love having speakers, so I will add
Yeah.
that too.
I was just
Um,
going to mention that. Happy to come present, if there's an opportunity. So
yeah,
definitely reach out.
And our
All right.
support group directory, like I said, we hope to have it updated soon with contact information for the people who are running that group. We have that for some folks, but not everyone, so that you could reach out to them as well. Um,
Thank you.
and
So is that support group, I just wanted to ask about that, Kara, is that limited to the people that are currently on it, or is there room for expansion for people
yes,
to join?
please let me know if you would like to have information added to it. I will put the link to that list in the chat too. It says it was last updated December. Um, it is a Google Doc again, December 18th, but that was
Mhm.
just, I made a few updates based on what people sent me, but it doesn't mean that everything listed there is updated, but soon.
Okay. Yeah. All
So
right.
it's easy enough for me to add. I just need information for each of the columns that are listed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said there was a group working on the support groups. Is there room for expansion there within that group? Or maybe I misunderstood it. You said it's a group of people that are working on the support group directory and
So
coming together and to discuss the support groups, or
Oh, so
did
there's
I
two different
misunderstand
things.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
there is a volunteer who's going through a different program who is going to help update the support group listings.
Okay.
But then there is a workshop through Maine Public Health Association coming up. Meg dropped that info all in the chat too.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that is something different. Wait. Nope, it's there. Sorry, that is there. January 22nd from 9 to 12. And the panel that I'm going to be facilitating as part of that will be about support groups in Maine. And there will be 4 support group facilitators who will be speaking about their groups and might speak about how they got their group started and give any advice to people who might be wanting to start a new group. That might be part of that panel.
Okay. Wonderful. Can I make like not a suggestion, but just throw something out there? I think it would be wonderful if there was a group a support group, work group where people could continue that work and give input, what's working, what's not working. Because I'm seeing, we're expanding on our groups up here, and that's it's nice to have, the input and feedback from people as
Yeah,
we continue to do this.
yeah, that's a great recommendation, and happy to help however I can with that and however we can. I think this connecting the dots when we have time for that kind of a discussion is a great
Yeah,
opportunity, but to have a separate discussion with just the support group facilitators, I think sounds
exactly.
really great too.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, I have a question for you. You mentioned that you are almost at full capacity. Do you mean that you are almost fully staffed, or that your staff is at full capacity and can't
Good
see more
question.
patients?
Oh, good question. That means we're almost fully staffed across the state.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and we have lots of room for referrals.
Great. Oh, that's great.
Great.
There. And the one way for them to get referred to you is through Cradle Me.
Yes, that is the way to refer to us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, excellent. All right. Who would like to go next? Thanks, Cynthia. Jessica, go for it. Oh, there you are.
Sorry
You're up.
about that. I don't know what happened. Okay. I'm Pasika. My background is in pediatrics, and I've been working with the coalition on a number of things. One is, as Kara mentioned, infant and young child feeding in emergencies, hopefully preparation ahead of time. We've been collaborating with the North Carolina Breastfeeding Coalition and their team that kind of came out came about spontaneously as a result of Hurricane Helene. It's called the Safe Infant Team. It's, I think, support and advocacy for feeding in emergencies. And basically, when Hurricane Helene hit, they realized it was just a group of volunteers, a group of IBCLCs, and speech therapists and other volunteers that realized that there was really no one in charge of infant and young child feeding, and there were a lot of problems with the donations that they were getting. They were getting a lot of like formula donations that were either being improperly kept or improperly distributed, or just it was just basically chaos, and they kind of assembled the plane as they were flying it. So they have now started an initiative in the fall doing a training, basically trying to help other states prepare in advance so that there's not, they don't, other people don't have the same experience. They felt that they were going kind of from one organization to the other, and everyone was saying, well, you should reach out to a different organization. And basically, no one was in charge and no one was really kind of coordinating this. So I've been doing the training just as, a trainee trying to learn from their experience, but also we've been coordinating with them to do a presentation with the VOAD, with the volunteer organization in disasters, and that's going to be in April. And then in parallel, we're trying to put together kind of an effort in Maine so that if and when a disaster hits, be it, a climate or other disaster, that there is already a team in place. And that's where, as Kara mentioned, we're looking for a group of volunteers that would be kind of like a leadership group, standby action leadership group that would be willing to kind of serve as contact people to try to coordinate if and when the need arises. So if anybody is interested in that, kind of looking to expand throughout the state just so people are kind of geographically dispersed and not all in one location. And that is still in the very early planning stages, so we don't have much further information at this point. But if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely let us know, and we'll be coordinating further as we'll get more information and training ourselves from the North Carolina team based on the experience that they're so gladly sharing.
Thank you, Pasika. Would you like to put your contact info in the chat so folks could
Yep.
reach out to you? Excellent. All right, such great updates, such good work. Brittany.
Hey everyone, my name is Brittany Regan. I am here from two totally different places. So I work at Acceleron, which is a DME, and I have a quick update. I also am on the board of the Mass Breastfeeding Coalition, and I'm the national director of Zip Milk, which is the resource page that Maine is now a part of. So I'll start with Zip Milk. Wanted to give a quick update. If anybody has gone to the Zip Milk website within the last 24 hours, you'll see a note at the top. There is currently a technical issue with the sorting of listings that we are working through. It does have to do with business directory, which is what hosts all of our listings and sorts them correctly and puts them up the way they should by the map. So it is something that they're working through. I don't have an estimate on when it will be finalized and fixed, but if you are experiencing any of those concerns, you can reach out to me at admin@zipmilk.org anytime. But just so you know, we are aware of the issue and we are working with Business Directory to get it figured out as soon as possible. Any questions about Zip Milk in general, you can also reach out to me at that admin email, and I can put that in the chat in a moment. Does anybody have questions about Zip Milk while we're kind of talking about it? Has everybody seen the website?
It's cool. It's good.
In general, Zip Milk is a free website for providers to list themselves for lactation support. It is lactation specific. So for example, Acceleron is a DME. We provide breast pumps. We are not on there. So it is lactation support specifically through 6 different categories. WIC is one of them, as well as free support groups, IBCLCs, and so on and so forth. So if you are a provider of lactation support in any capacity, please do not hesitate to get yourself listed on there. Once the sorting is figured out, you will be searchable by zip code and by state overall. And then for Acceleron, I wanted to share a quick update that has to do with sales tax. So I just want to read it so it's clear from our customer care team. As of January 1st, 2026, It is no longer required to charge or have people pay sales tax in Maine for breastfeeding equipment products. This includes pumps, milk storage bags, replacement parts, valves, membranes, wearable cups, and durable medical equipment such as blood pressure monitors and nebulizers. It does not apply to compression items, but this is just helpful for, families that are purchasing things out of pocket. If they have upgrade fees and things like that, sales tax is no longer applicable to those in the state of Maine, which is really exciting. It is something that was worked on overall by the whole Homes Committee for Durable Medical Equipment. And then I know Aceleron had, a small part in just trying to make sure that that moved forward. But if anyone has questions, you can reach out to me. Again, I'll put my email in the chat.
Thanks,
And that's it
Brittany.
for me.
We also submitted public comment or public testimony in support of that bill. So I'm really glad to hear that that is all good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Jessica, I see you're there. Would you like to unmute, introduce yourself?
Hi there. Hi, Cara. Hi, everybody. Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Jessica Isles, and I'm the CEO of the Breastfeeding Foundation, which I began about a year ago now in order to really bring some novel ways of changing our culture from a formula feeding culture, which sadly we are, to a breastfeeding culture. And listening to your meeting today, I'm very encouraged with all this incredible work that everyone's doing. It's fantastic. I am also a lactation specialist, education specialist. So I have training. I've been out in the field with all mothers, and I see the hurdles that they come up against. The main goals of the Breastfeeding Foundation are to enact two of the biggest, I would say, levers to shifting us from a formula feeding culture to a breastfeeding culture. And that would be paid leave, which everyone's been talking about for years, and then also banning formula marketing and highlighting the risks of formula. Paid leave is one of those things. If mothers don't have the time to nourish and nurture their babies, they just can't do it. And the reason that I believe, and this is what's not discussed, so I'm just sharing with you a new approach, which I feel is going to get us over the finish line, which is that neither right nor left can agree that paid leave is a good idea because they think it's going to cost so much money. And they just think, oh, it might be ideological, but mostly it's financial. And the truth is, when you do the numbers on and using, it's an economic term called discounted cash flow. Some of you might know what that is. I only do because my husband was in finance and he explained, look and see if this is going to work for America. And the truth is that we can completely afford paid leave because breastfeeding itself saves so much money in the future of a mother's life and the baby's life. It increases productivity. It decreases health costs so substantially. It increases IQ, which then increases productivity. So our work in this area is it's in its preliminary stages, and any time that anyone wants to contribute to this knowledge base that we're creating, it's all welcome. I'll put it's the breastfeedingfoundation.org. So basically, net present value of breastfeeding means that we can afford to pay women $3,000 a month, even some projections say $5,000 a month. So I want you to feel buoyed that hopefully this is going to be happening by discussing it in a different way. The second thing is, of course, banning formula marketing, and the WHO code has never been passed in the United States, which is shocking. It's not legally enforced, as you know. But the reason that's given most of the time when any lawsuits are filed against this, basically the deception that's out there, they say, well, it's commercial free speech. We're protected in America. But nobody actually points out that breastfeeding isn't a commercial act, and it's a public health necessity. And so they're using legal terminology to actually defend a position which is indefensible. So I believe with this new legal approach, we're going to make headway into making sure that the marketing of formula, not the access to it, just the marketing of it and sampling, etc., is made illegal. The Breastfeeding Foundation has submitted 2 petitions to the FDA, basically saying we need warning labels, health risk warning labels on formula, and also to the FTC saying you need to label formula, saying to women that use of this product will or may decrease their milk supply. So it's unlike any other product out there. It's not like a Coke versus a Pepsi where, no, the use of formula decreases milk supply. And this is a mission of material fact. So it is a lot of sort of legal stuff that we get into. But I do feel that your work is going to be made so much easier with these things passed. There are other issues that we address as well, but these are the two main things that I believe are going to shift our culture. So I hope that helps, and thank you all so much for all the work you're doing. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Jessica, for being here and sharing the work that you're doing on this. Does anyone have any questions for Jessica or any comments? Or I'm hopeful you may have already shared your contact info when you
I'll
introduce
do that,
yourself.
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to look at that, but yeah, this is an important topic and sometimes controversial topic, right? As we're all aware. I also have been hearing more about the our Health and Human Services, Federal Health and Human Services, wanting to invest in more research on infant formula and safety around infant formula. I think that's great. Also, I'm hopeful that that doesn't turn into more marketing of infant formula. And I hope that there are investments in breastfeeding as well and
Yeah.
breastfeeding support as well.
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, when RFK stopped and was like, oh, we're going to make formula the gold standard. Well, I've written an article. As soon as he says gold standard and refers to formula using that terminology, it automatically elevates formula. And he uses, Operation Stork Speed. Well, this harks back to the 50s and 60s where formula was in its heyday. He is not really up to date with what needs to be done in the formula industry. I did write a whole article on how the US dietary guidelines need to be shifted. It's also sort of, breastfeeding formula, infant feeding, it just is blended together. And that is not the way it needs to be. So we do have a lot of work to do. And yes, formula does get elevated. I noticed he had the heads of all the formula marketing come and talk to him about how they were willing to change the formula and make it better. Instead of getting them in to say, we're promoting breastfeeding, your industry is going to be marginalized. How are you going to manage that financial exit? Because that is ultimately the breastfeeding advocacy's role, is to say, as breastfeeding rises, formula sales are going to drop. Where is this industry going to go? And if we don't find a place for them, whether it's breast milk, screen breast milk factories, or whatever you want to call them, centers, or baby food or something, they're going to fight us all the way, which is what they do. Every step that we make, they want to cancel it out. So we do need to help RFK and that group of people see that formula needs to be marginalized, basically, as breast milk increases in popularity.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to drop a link into the chat that I just came across. It's from the website Politico, and it's talking about their food agenda, essentially. And it has, at the very end of this article, it talks about donor milk, too. Wait, this might be, okay. Well, actually talking about Operation Stork Speed, like you said, and infant formula, and he responds by saying he's going to dive back into this in January. And that a big priority is increasing access to donor milk, which is also great, but we really still want to get back to the basics of mother's own milk and how can we make sure that that babies are getting their mother's own milk when that is what mom wants in particular. Brittany, you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, hi Jessica, thank you for sharing. So MBC recently had the Radical Moms group come speak at one of our sessions. They are working on addressing Meta's formula marketing and appealing to the public health perspective. So within Facebook and social media in that sense. Are you working with them at all?
Yes, I have been in touch with them, and we feel like our work is going to overlap a lot. Basically, they're fighting a battle that's literally right there on the ground. And I'm trying to fight the battle where we say, basically, breast milk you can't compete against it. We've also got advocacy towards making breast milk and breastfeeding in a protected class federally. And once you do that, then you can say, this is protected. You cannot say anything about another product. You cannot compete with it in the public space. And that would then help them clearly with what they're doing. So we kind of agreed with our discussions. I mean, what they're doing is fantastic, but it's still on the micro level, which is great for now, until we get what actually is needed, which is just to say, no, this is not appropriate in a culture. We're a Western nation. We're wealthy. There's no reason for this. So yes, but thank you. They're a great group.
Social media is just so rampant, which, that next talk will be so great, right, Karen?
In February, yeah.
Thank you again, Jessica.
Thank you so much. So we have a couple of minutes left. I want to make sure everyone has had an opportunity to share something or ask a question if you have it. So I'll keep that open for folks.
I wanted to say, I think it was Pasaka, about the emergency work that you're doing, which is just amazing, because all the time when emergencies happen, oh, send formula. But really what we need is a movement to establish resiliency of supply chain for breast milk, not formula. All the government ever talks about is, oh, a shortage of formula or something like that. But it's actually a shortage of breast milk, because formula only exists in the absence of breast milk. And in these emergency situations, as you say, mothers need to know that the breastfeeding can be kept together. They can be with their baby, they can be supported, or with the donor milk. So I think that's really great work and really important. So thank you.
I agree, and it looked from their experience that they were actually overrun with formula donations, that they just, they were discarding so many of them for various reasons, because they were damaged or they were stored improperly or there wasn't any water that could be safely used, and then et cetera, et cetera. So I agree absolutely.
Right. Well, we are at, Robin, it looks like you're about to say something.
Nope.
Okay. We're at 1 o'clock. If you wanted to share anything but didn't get a chance to, or have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. Happy to talk with you or help put the word out about anything that you want to share. But thank you so much for taking the time today to meet and to learn from one another and to support one another. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.